previously on the Outer Worlds. Yeah,
I
sure.
understand. I will require some time to process this information. Thank you for your patience and for your honesty. I am programmed to take orders exclusively from Captain Hawthorne. If I accept your orders, then you must be Captain Hawthorne. Do you understand? Well done, Captain Hawthorne. I see your powers of deductive reasoning remain intact. Unfortunately, our engine is currently inoperable. Our main drive suffered a critical power failure, and we were forced to make an emergency landing. The main drive's power regulator has been irreparably damaged and must be replaced. Astutely observed. However, the probability of locating a power regulator within a worker settlement falls within acceptable parameters of certainty. High-capacity power regulators are sometimes employed in the electrical networks of worker settlements. I have taken the liberty of printing you a new Captain's Identity cartridge. Please try not to lose it this time. This cartridge identifies you, Alex Hawthorne, as the registered proprietor and captain of the Unreliable. Do you understand?
Captain Hawthorne of the Unreliable. I like it.
Thank you. I appreciate your cooperation.
Say, this wouldn't happen to be your ship, would it? Because you sure walked in it like it was your ship. And if this ship is yours, well, ma'am, you owe Spacer's Choice a hefty fine. Afraid we gotta dock your pay.
Look, you obviously ain't a worker. What's your racket? You a smuggler? Freelancer?
You know, why don't we just go with a little bit of that and a little bit of that and play kind of like a thief or rogue or something like that, where we're gonna try to steal from people and stuff like that. Depends on the work. You offering me a job, or I do what I want. I mean, I guess if we're gonna be a thief and all, I guess we kind of just, you know, do what we kind of want.
Got a knack for being discreet-like? There's money to be made, long as you keep your nose clean. Edgewater is a company town, board-owned and operated. That includes the cemetery. None of us own our grave sites. We rent them from the company. Renting means money. Money means paperwork. Paperwork means signatures. Some of our families become a mite delinquent in paying their dues, you see?
Aha. You making people pay for their own graves? I guess they do.
What can I do for you?
So, why don't you just... Oh yeah, let's try this.
Ship. Dear me. You seem to have lost the ability to distinguish between reality and fantasy. This is what happens when you let your imagination run wild. I don't approve of fantasizing. It's a dreadful habit, corrosive to the mental faculties.
What do you know about this?
The plague's come at us with a vengeance this year. Lost 6 workers in as many months. I wouldn't call them good workers, mind you. If they were any good, they'd have been treated. Still, it is a shame.
Treat all your workers.
Company policy, friend. We don't have enough medicine to treat all of us, so we treat the best among us. You know about Eugene? How?
I'm a mind reader.
You were probably poking around my things. I really shouldn't leave my letters sitting out in the open. Eugene's golden teeth were a family heirloom, representing 3 generations of poor dental hygiene. He took them to his grave.
I mean, he's not gonna miss them. He's dead. He's not gonna miss them, really.
That's unthinkable. Eugene's body and all rare earth minerals contained therein are solely the property of Spacer's Choice. I can't ask Silas to dig up a man's body and pry a few teeth loose from his jaw just to pay my bills. Can I?
I don't care, I'm just here to collect the dues.
Here you are. Gravesite papers affixed with my signature and an IOU.
Alright. Are you gonna mind if I go through your drawer? How can I push you? Can I like push you just inside this door over there? Come on, I just want to push you inside this door so I can loot your place. Then again, it's only 13-bit cartridges, one Adreno. Is it actually gonna be worth it? Well, not really, so... Which amazes me because haircuts are not cheap. They're pretty expensive. Medical stuff, this kind of place, should be expensive as well. You should be one of the richest people in this town. You're doing something really wrong here.
You think you're tough waving that thing around?
Yes.
Oh, sweet merciful law. A marauder's in my domicile.
You know what? Sure.
Please don't kill me. I still gotta pay my gravesite fees. Wait a second. I heard marauders don't talk much. You can talk just fine. Mr. Thompson send you to put the fear in me? Well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because I'm definitely not plagued. As spry as a spring chicken. That's old Abernathy. You some sort of wandering alienist? Walking into a man's own domicile, pestering him about his mental state?
Why, yes. Well, I mean, I guess I'm here to collect your gravesite fees, but yes, in other words, yes, I am pestering you about your mental state. Yes, I am. Alright. Hello, Phyllis. How are you? I'm gonna quick save before I do anything stupid. Well, stupider, I should say.
You the new worker? Whatever. Make it quick, Tenderfoot. I'm busy. Foreman Granger, mind those words don't come out of your mouth unless preceded by yes or right away or thank you. Shit. Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell Reed I was late on my payment. Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with shot himself. I paid the bill. If you're not familiar with board law, you ought to be. Law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative, which meant me. Shame, though. Eugene was a good worker.
You know about Eugene? How?
Woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at his desk. We all thought he was an upstanding receptionist. Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Spacer's Choice handguns aren't the most reliable.
Alright, alright.
Eugene wasn't family.
Didn't he just say closest living relative?
Yeah, I was the closest living person relative to his body at time of death. I'm the one who found him, you see, so I pay the fines.
Oh.
Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism. All I know is Silas asked me for Eugene's gravesite fees, which means he was approved for burial, which means his papers went through, which means the town's in the clear. I'm just glad to put this whole ugly affair behind me. Eugene can rest his bones in peace, and the rest of us can get on with our own lives.
Fair enough.
What's on your mind? I paid his burial fees, didn't I? Let the dead sleep. Didn't anyone ever tell you not to go rifling through other people's correspondence?
They did, but I didn't listen to it. So we have that. So we only need Ludwig. Yeah, we only need the Ludwig's gravesite fees. So I guess we should just go and talk to this dude, mayor, town worker, whatever. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Just
Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself. I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I must say, wearing a Marauder's outfit is in very poor taste. I do wish you'd show your uniform a little more respect. Can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process.
oh, is that so? All right. Let me get it. You want me to do something for you before you help me?
My proposition benefits the both of us. Please, hear me out. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way.
When you say mostly abandoned, because yeah, it's mostly abandoned, it's not the same thing as actually being abandoned, you know?
I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there.
I never would have guessed.
The people living in the botanical labs, they're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home.
You want me to solve the deserter problem? I charge about that.
Good Lord, no, I don't want you killing anyone, least of all them. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town.
Okay. How will I recognize her?
Adelaide's older than the other deserters. She's dignified, kindly. From what I understand, her camp looks to her for leadership.
Okay. These workers must have left town for
That
weeks.
reason was me. I asked too much and pushed too hard. But I am ready to make amends if they are willing to return to the fold. We belong to one community, the Spacer's Choice family. If we dissolve into factions, then we will all perish separately. Adelaide will understand that.
I'll see what I
My
can.
dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
I mean, Parvati's cool. She can come
Right.
along.
I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set. Hey, ma'am, can we talk? Sorry. Can we talk?
Would you mind stepping out of the elevator first? Like, over here, please? Fine, let's talk inside the elevator.
Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me. It's just, Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters, on account of it's his job and what all, but that's not the only side of the tale.
Be this heavily up. Let's move.
To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left. Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is.
Oh, guess what? We found Vicar Max. Completely by accident. There's no way I didn't see that.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max, if you're the sort who prefers brevity. And Ms. Holcomb as well. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
Just tagging along, Vicar de Soto. Don't mind me.
I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling, this season's tossball predictions, the quickest way out of town.
I mean, the quickest way out of town sounds about nice.
But what? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do? Depriving them of safety from the marauders and wildlife. I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk. They rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our Spacer's Choice patrons. Does that strike you as a responsible life choice?
Right, great. Can we wrap this up?
Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold.
This has been a waste of time. But keep that in mind.
If it were as easy as a few soothing words in the right ears, I'm sure it would have been done already. Consider it a challenge.
Oh, I love
If
challenges.
you don't mind a bit of unsolicited advice, be cautious on your way to the geothermal plant. It is not as safe as you might assume.
Okay. Why is that? I've been outside, I'm not impressed.
The marauders I met when I ventured outside the walls might agree with you. Bastards snuck up on me while I was dutifully hunting for a banned book in a collector's library. Barely escaped with my life. But you see, one of the reasons I transferred here was to get my hands on that heretical text. If you managed to acquire it for me, I'd pay quite a handsome sum for the book.
You mentioned a handsome sum for a book? I mean... Okay, I will admit, this looks gorgeous. If I could have this in real life, like this view and all of that, oh man. I mean, I do live in Iceland, so I can kind of have this view, but not exactly, but still. I love views like this, I really do. But yeah, I digress. We're here to collect some gravesite fees. So, let's collect some gravesite fees. Hello. Where you going?
Thank the law. I've been requisitioning backup for months. Guess the boss finally came to his senses. You ever swung a truncheon? Let me see your rifling stance. I want to make sure you're up to snuff. I told Silas I'd pay my dues if he agreed to join the resistance. Guess this means he's finally heard the calling.
What?
I'm talking about mechanical soldier. Cold, heartless automatons made of iron and lies.
Cold, heartless automatons made of iron and lies. I mean, I'm sorry, but aren't those robots yet? Aren't those robots? Well, what should we do next? Should we go for the botanical lab next, or should we go to the robots, or what? What should we do next? Well, I guess we'll find out after we talk to Silas, of course. Might as well just finish that up. Hello, Silas.